Brandy says, I'd like to now get into the nuclear sector after seeing what big tech is doing in the space. I know Robert has mentioned a few names and I've seen some of them on Barron's as well, but has anyone bought any of them? I'm looking for a bunch of different names, if it's ETFs or single stocks. Robert, Austin, can you share with me your thoughts? Robert, do you want to walk through perhaps what happened recently in nuclear with big tech, and then two, a couple ETFs per se that people could purchase or add to a well-diversified portfolio to have some exposure into this cool new theme of nuclear energy?
Yeah, I love it. And this is a great question, Brandy. I love the sector because, as Austin and I have been speaking on a lot in recent months, the U.S., as manufacturing starts to really thrive again here, we need a ton of infrastructure support in the energy sector, not just in the energy itself, but the picks and shovels of building that energy so we can have these huge gigafactories for Tesla and Amazon and FedEx and all of the big companies that are out there building. And why I like nuclear is because of its effectiveness when it comes to the cost of creating the power. And I've been talking on nuclear now for about a year and a half through URA and also URNM as a couple of my favorite funds that I really like. But why I think it's important is nuclear is going to be completely different this time. And as you've seen, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google are all investing heavily into the sector as well. So they're getting on board also. And what I see and what I've been researching for the past couple of years is that we're going to see nuclear be more of these localized centers where they're going to build these plants to be able to produce this power. And I think it's important to understand that instead of the big old way of looking at nuclear where it's dangerous and these big plants, it's going to be a lot more centralized locations for nuclear power throughout the country. And I think it's a great sector to have some of your portfolio in. As I mentioned, I've been buying URNM and URA for quite some time, but you mentioned CEG, Constellation Energy Group. I think that is a great one as well. I've been adding that to my position. I like it a lot. And then also VST. Vistra is a very good company. They're one of the largest energy providers in the country, and I like those as well. I just think it's a great sector. You always hear Austin and I talk about that you don't have to be first to a sector. You just have to be ahead of the masses. And even though Microsoft and Amazon have announced recently their dedication to the nuclear space, I think we're still early, and that's why we want to get in with these picks and shovels play into that sector, and I hope that helps. So all in all, I really love this play in the nuclear field, and all of the big companies are really investing because they know AI is here to stay, and AI is very energy consumptive, and we want to make sure that we understand that, and that is why they're investing in the sector, and we want to get our piece as well.
Yeah, so I've not yet invested into URNM, but it seems like a pretty interesting ETF. It's the Sprott Uranium Miners ETF, and then there's also URA. Personally, when it comes to investing in a new sector that I've not done too much research on, right? I normally don't invest in things I don't research, which is why I haven't invested in anything yet. I like to do a broad stroke type investment, right? I don't like to find a single stock and go all in and have that only stock be my, exposure to that sector. I will instead choose an ETF or two. So it seems like URA and URNM will be the two broad stroke sort of investments that I'll make in this nuclear space, alongside owning Amazon, Google, and Microsoft stock.
Yeah, I think that's a great play. We never want to teach anyone to go all in on one stock. That's generally how people get their heads knocked off. But definitely, Brandy, great question. And I love the sector. I'm dollar cost averaging into all the projects we discussed, and I hope this helps.